All right, so today we're going to be talking about the Google search update that came out. Obviously, the helpful content update and the core update came out pretty much at the same time right now. And one of the trends that I've seen recently is that a lot of sites have taken a hit and then bounced back up. There's been a kind of reversal over the way. So, what I'm going to be doing today is just running through some of the latest comments. If you have any questions, feel free to post them, and we're going to get straight into it. But yeah, this is one of the most common trends I've seen. So a lot of sites got hit on day one of the update and then they bounced back up. Same here as well. So you can see traffic got hit basically down to zero and then it bounced back up. And again, with this website as well. So this ties into one of the things I was talking about on my recent live streams. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. This one, I think it is this one right here. But basically, when you're going through an update like this and you see your traffic is very temperamental, don't make any crazy changes because you have to kind of wait it out and just see what happens. So I'm just going to run through some of the top comments here. And if anyone has any questions in the comments on the live, I'll prioritize those and make sure I answer them first. But I want to run through as well later today one of the craziest but best mindset hacks I've seen. And it's not actually from me, it's someone else that gave me some good advice on the channel. And yeah, I'm going to run through that later. But let's start running through some of these questions. So someone else says, please tell me how to create a cool thumbnail. So what I would recommend if you want to create a cool thumbnail, and this is based on what's working for me. So you can see, for example, this particular video, it got, let's check how many views. It got an insane amount of views. It was, 56,400 views. You can see it made $340. Pretty nice. 300 subscribers. And it got a decent click-through rate. I think at its peak, it was 8.3%, which is far higher than your average. And you can see some other videos as well, like this one. Let's check out the click-through rate right here. And you can see that it's a 10.9% click-through rate. Now, I think it's really useful to understand thumbnails, not just from a YouTube SEO perspective, but also for your website. Because if you can understand what are the images that get the most clicks and create the most attention, and you're good to go. Carly White says, send in strength. Thank you very much, Carly. And Salvesh says, hi, Julian, hope all is well. All right, so when it comes to creating thumbnails, I actually created this custom GPT right here, as you can see. And what you can say is, give me a thumbnail, let's say, for a video about making money, right? And you can say a video about making money with ChatGPT, and you can use this for images on your website. You can use it for images on your YouTube channel, whatever you want to do. And then you just want to make it very attention grabbing, right? So zoom in on the face, show loads of cash everywhere, show a laptop with a dollar sign on the background, give me crazy eyes, etc. Right? I'm not typing properly right now. There we go. All types, everything says hello, hello to you too. And basically what this custom GPT is programmed to do is create thumbnails for you based on the instructions. And then you would just go back and forth with it a little bit. And honestly, after about 2 or 3 times of going back and forth with ChatGPT, like you can see right here, we created a really nice thumbnail, as you can see. So very powerful process for creating nice images across your website and SEO. I'll show you that once it's generated. It might take a couple of minutes, and we'll move on to some of the next videos. So someone says, Andreas says, where are the links to the templates? So you can get them inside my free ChatGPT course. And in pretty much every video, I'll show you how to get them in the video. But yeah, free ChatGPT course is there. And if you've already logged in, then there's a login section down here. It shows you how to access. So if you have any issues logging in, you can just check them out right there. Nice and easy. Savesh says, what's an average CTR on your thumbs? I would say anywhere between, I think the thing is, it depends how many views it gets, right? So at the start, it's probably going to get about 10 to 12%, which is really high. And then as it reaches a wider audience, if it's getting a lot of views, the CTR is actually going to drop down to maybe like 8 or 7%, simply because it's less relevant to the expanded audience that it reaches. Electronic Earnings says, have you received a bit of growth after the massive dip everyone seems to be having? Yeah, I've seen some of my case studies grow absolutely massively. Like, it's insane. They've taken a big jump since the update. And yeah, I think I've seen that for a lot of sites. Some sites are absolutely smashing it right now. The thing that I have seen, though, is that first day, most of these sites took a dip and then they bounced back up. Jay says, Julian, with so many sites getting penalized, how are you revising your links and strategies? So for me, it's not really about the links. The update wasn't about the links at all. And I think from what I've seen, really it's about the core update and the helpful content update, and also some public people got hit as well manually. So it's one of those where I don't think it really changes in terms of selling links, but it's up to you as well. If you want to set links on your sites, that's totally up to you. But obviously, it's risky, and I've always said that from day one, just like everything that I've done on the channel. So for me, these are just experiments that I show publicly. Would I recommend them for everyone? No. And we're going to keep going down now. So Sabif says, for tracking performance, impressions, clicks, etc., what's a good alternative to GSC? You can actually use Bing. Bing have a webmaster tools as well, and you don't get as much traffic on Bing, but actually it gives you a lot of data, just like you can see right here. Savev says, off topic, if you would start your YouTube from zero again, what would you do? Actually, I did start my YouTube from zero again, which you can see right here. And we've just hit 1,000 subscribers. Started publishing back in December and published very sporadically. I actually made a post about this on my Facebook. You can check it out on Julian Goldie SEO on Facebook. So where is it now? Here's the particular post that I made. Yeah, so I started this from zero. You can see I only posted like once or twice a week, something like that. But we just reached 1,000 subscribers on that channel. As you can see, started it from scratch, started it from zero. All the YouTube strategies that I teach are working really well. And if you want to check that out, you can check it out in my private SEO mastermind. Links in the comments and description. But yeah, it shows you exactly how to create content that engages people in a very time efficient way, because obviously I run this channel, I run the agency channel, I have my own agency, I have like multiple websites as well. But yeah, this process is really proven. Badass Optics says, so are you saying to expect bounce back from a huge dip since March the 6th? I'm not saying that at all. I think that there's been a bit of a reversal, but that's only for some sites. So there's no guarantee for any of your site. And I think you just have to see like, okay, what's going on. But the thing that I would say from all of this, what I am saying is don't rush into anything, because it's very early days and you just don't know what can happen. And this update is just rolling out. It's we're right at the beginning, right? And then you've got the Parasite SEO update coming in a couple of months as well. So I'm not saying to expect a reversal, but what I would say is expect things to be volatile. Jay says, we do too much work in SEO to get clicks. Do you ever dabble in paid traffic? I've dabbled in paid traffic with Facebook ads and AdWords as well. I honestly don't think they're as powerful for my particular niche, but I think it varies. If you're an e-commerce store, dabbling in ads is a no-brainer. Like, I think that almost has to be done. And TikTok ads as well, they work really well. I also think that YouTube SEO is one of the best ways to actually get a lot of traffic these days, because the traffic converts very well. It's a good way of building an audience, which is a massive asset. And also you can easily turn that traffic into sales from day one, not in 3 or 6 or 9 months. Plus, there's not these crazy updates to wipe out your site overnight. Serenity says, hey, Julian, what's best? Normal submitting page for indexing GSC or using Google Instant Indexing API? I've actually heard really good things about Google Instant Indexing, but I've not tested it myself. So yeah, we might run some tools and some tests in the future. Just going to stop screen sharing there. Electronic Earnings says, have you ever tested TikTok? What about TikTok ads? Yeah, so I've created multiple TikTok accounts in the past that have grown to millions of views organically. And it's crazy the kind of reach that you can get on TikTok. So TikTok is extremely powerful for getting a lot of traffic at scale for free. The only thing that I would say is that, yes, you do get views, but you don't get clicks so much from TikTok. And also, a lot of the content is dumbed down. Now, the other thing that I would say with TikTok is that it's great for e-commerce, but it's not going to work in certain niches, right? So, for example, if I have an SEO agency, there's not a lot of businesses I'm trying to sell to that actually use TikTok personally, and they're not going to be like scrolling through TikTok looking at 10 or 12-second ads. They're going to be trying to look at different tutorials and different videos, which is why I create so much content on YouTube instead. And another question is, have you tried Bing ads? I have dabbled in Bing ads years ago, and the one thing that I found was it's a lot cheaper, and it did convert some traffic into sales. So I tested that back when I was a sales copywriter, essentially. But I think any of these channels work. It's just about dedicating your mental energy and focus on it for like 90 days, cracking the code, systemizing it, and then giving it to someone else. Now, the thing that I would say with Bing ads, TikTok ads, Google ads is that you're creating a system of diversification, right? So, for example, if the Google Core update comes along and you get a bit of a smackdown on your site, you don't really worry too much because you've got all these other diversified portfolios. Serenity says, I'm submitting my loss. Not sure what that means. And Bagyesh says, may I know which WordPress themes are best for SEO? So I think they all work. Honestly, I don't think there's any particular one. For like quick sites that you want to set up, you can use Neve or something like that. Elementor is great, actually. I really like Elementor just for designing the whole site. I think it makes it look really nice. And then the good thing about that is you can have any theme, but you can customize it in the way you want with Elementor, and it looks really nice. I've used that for multiple sites. Jordan says, do you know anyone who has tried testing a new expired website since the update, or is it still too early to see anything meaningful? I still think it's too early to see anything meaningful because the updates are not fully rolled out. And if they're not fully rolled out, then you don't know what's going to happen post update. So even if something works day one, that might get reversed day two, and then it's going to be very volatile from there. And Serenity says, I'm submitting my post via API. Do you think it harms in any way? I haven't tested it out myself, so I don't want to give advice on something I haven't tested and BS you like that. But from what I've heard from other SEOs, they use indexing via the API and they say it's actually better. So something to try there. I think just run your own experiments to see what works. YouTube Trade Biz says, what about Pinterest ads? Do you think it's a good platform to gain some traffic? So it depends on your audience. But let's say, for example, you have a pets website. I think pets websites would do really well on Pinterest because that's the sort of audience. So, like, for example, if you were doing something like interior design, something very visual, I think Pinterest is absolutely insane for getting traffic, whether that's organically or whether that's with the ads. And I think as well, the ads are going to be a lot cheaper. What other people have told me as well is that the RPMs are actually higher in terms of traffic from Pinterest versus traffic from SEO. So I think it's a really good way to diversify. And I actually spoke to some other YouTubers recently who were talking about creating more videos on that. So maybe it's something I'll try out myself in the future. Generate Press is pretty good. And Andrew says, has anyone complimented your hair post-surgery? If not, it's looking good. Keep sharing the nuggets. Thank you very much, Andrew. That's very kind. So actually what's happened right now, if you want a cheeky update on the hair transplant, at this stage, because it's been just over a month, the hair is actually falling out. The original ones have been put in. And then I think after like 3 or 4 months, the roots underneath my skin push through, and that's when you really see the results of the hair transplant. But thank you very much. I can actually hide it so well just by putting my hair forward. Like I did that from day one on the transplant, and yeah, I'm pretty happy. How did you actually react and feel when you saw the penalty notice? Be honest. Yeah, I think for me, like again, I came out and did a live stream pretty much an hour after. I think it is slightly scary, but it was just a warning sign to slow down on what I was doing publicly and maybe just clean up publicly. You know, look at some different ways that you can actually improve the content. Look at ways you can still give value without doing anything that's going to annoy anyone else, and just learn from the situation. I think as well, just stay positive and also don't let yourself like be sucked into any sort of negativity, right? So, for example, if these things happen, it's definitely going to change the way that I create content in the future. It's already changed the way that I create content recently, if you see how I'm creating videos now versus before. And additionally, it's also given me some ideas, okay, in terms of like, right, how can I adapt? And I think that's the main thing. It's just adapting and learning from it and going, right, these things probably I can't talk about anymore. These things I can, and have no resentment towards anyone. That's, it's all good vibes. I think that's the best way. Another question, all-in-one SEO and its AI tools integrate perfectly with Elementor, doesn't it? I haven't actually tried any of those tools, but it sounds good. And Exploring AI in Everyday Life says, should I delete my website, which was created by ChatGPT? I think don't do anything drastic is what I would advise you there. I mean, I've seen sites creating content in all different ways, and some of them got hit, some of them didn't. I've seen human sites get hit, and I just wouldn't do anything. Yeah. Jay says, what are your margins on the average recurring revenue you earn? I will say they're very reasonable, better than most agencies. And Bijoy says, my website getting 0 impressions but still indexed. Should I update my content? I would say it depends when you launch your content and how good it is, right? So if you realistically looked at your content versus your competitors and looked at, okay, what's the difference? Where's the gap? How can you bridge the gap between where you are and your competitors? That's really the game you want to play. And then also it's going to be a case of building up a brand, right? Building up a brand, building up authority for your site, and then just letting that increase from there. Because the thing is, if it's a new site and you've just created the content, then there's going to be a sandbox period where you're not going to get any traffic, you're not going to get any impressions or views, and then you just go from there. And Electronic Earnings says, where did you go for your hair transplant? I actually went to one that my friend went to, and in fact, two of my friends have been there. It's called DHT Clinic in Bangkok. And yeah, they were absolutely amazing. Shout out to them. Andrew says, haha, bravo, an inspiration to us all. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for who, everyone who keeps going and all the positivity on the channel as well. I really appreciate that. It's very kind. So Marcos says, I have many sites in one niche. Some went down and some went up. Exactly. That's it. It's all about volatility right now. And the more that you can diversify, the better. Are we still talking about hair transplants? I might have to do just a Q&A on the hair transplants one day after it's fully gone. Jay says, why don't you ever sell your agency? I heard it grosses a few mil. The reason is something that I thought deeply about, and it's something that I've looked into. We might sell it in the future, but it's got to be the right offer with the right people, and it's got to be systemized in a way where it doesn't really rely on me, right? So, for example, if we have the agency, it needs to be fully away from my personal brand. So, for me, for example, right now, if you look at our agency, it was fully tied to my name. That is changing as we speak. We've actually launched a new domain for Gold Star Links and goldieagency.com, and then they're going to be separate brands away from me. So it'll be a more sellable asset. And I think even if you don't want to sell your business right now, build it to sell, because then it's going to run like a machine without you. So for me, for example, I actually don't really spend much time on the agency because everything is running like clockwork in terms of the systems, the people, the operations, the team, etc. And yeah, it's pretty much a sellable asset, but just on the front end, it needs to be separated from my name. And Electronic Earnings says, maybe rather than deleting your website, you could try and make each post better by adding infographics or videos. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is like, just look at the quality of your content and don't look at deleting your whole site, but look at ways you can improve it along the way. Apparently SEO Press beats all-in-one, loving the tool, AI integration for alt text. And Mohammed says, how do you see SEO in the current or upcoming era of AI? I don't mean it will be dead, just asking your opinion about the future of SEO. So I think the way that people search in the future is going to totally change. And I don't think that most people will be looking inside Google search, because it's a very inefficient way to actually search, right? If you're looking through like 10 different posts on the first page of Google, and then you're like, right, I have to click on one, I have to make sure it's the right website to click on, I have to hopefully cross my fingers and make sure that I've landed on the right site, giving me non-biased advice. And it's all kind of like a bit inefficient and time consuming. Whereas if you look at the way that ChatGPT gives the results, or if you look at the way that Gemini gives the results when you actually search on there, you'll see that the results are actually a lot clearer, more direct, and more neutral, right? And I think that's the way that SEO is going, is like people will search inside the AI, not inside Google search. But you're talking like 5 or 10 years down the line. I don't think that's going to happen overnight. And right now, I think that the people are still searching normally. Bear in mind as well, we're in this little bubble where typically people who have an online business are 2, 3, 5 years ahead of the curve in terms of how they use the internet, right? Whereas if you look at the general public, like, they don't really change the way they search right now. Most of them have never used ChatGPT or understand what it is properly. And so these sort of trends are not going to come overnight, but that's the way I see things going in the future. Having said that, most experts who predict the future are wrong. So I could be totally wrong there. Facebook user says, what happened to your AI sites? So they got hit manually if I had ownership of the site on Google Search Console, they got wiped out manually. Any other sites were totally fine. So it's just the sites that I had inside my Google Search Console, and only the sites that I actually had ownership over that got hit. Anything else was totally fine. Jay says, thoughts on selling content in the future, selling links. I think it's an interesting one. I think that you just have to keep adapting, right? Keep looking at the trends, look at the way that things are going, and yeah, go from there. Benit says, is guest post business will affect after this update? I don't know. I think it's too early to say. I haven't seen link building hit yet, but it could be. You just don't know. From what I've seen, that's not been the case, so. Akram says, maximum respect for all your efforts and tons of value you provide here. Thank you very much. That's really kind. And the positivity from this community is amazing, so thank you. Joy says, since the recent Google Core Update 5, my website with over 20 posts has seen a drop in impressions to 0. Previously, 4 of my posts were ranking well in search results. Again, I think it's too early to say, but let's see what we go from there. And Bejoy says, should I update the content? So I would wait and then update the content because you just don't know what's going to happen. Go from there. Andrew says, regarding selling, what multiple would you want? I think typical multiple for an agency is like 2 to 3x. Pretty standard. I don't want to, yeah, there's a lot of people who might be deluded in how much value their agency actually is worth. But I think on average, most agencies just go for like a 2 to 3x yearly profit multiple, right? And so if you're selling, that's the kind of multiple you have to expect realistically. And in terms of what automations and systems have I built, so if you want to learn more about that, check out Julian Goldie Agency on YouTube. I can't go too much into depth on it on this live stream because obviously most of the audience here is focused on SEO content. But if you want to learn more about all of those questions you said, for example, like what you're most proud of, what you set up, why is your agency valuable aside from revenue, then I would check out Julian Goldie Agency because I show a lot of systems right there. And if you're really interested in taking your agency to the next level, you want to get your next 5 to 10 clients, then feel free to check out my agency mastermind. But I don't want to go off on a tangent. And Jay says, would you ever do videos on building agency, selling services, stuff outside of content sites? Yeah, already done that. Already posted probably 50 videos by this point, all tutorials on exactly how to grow your agency. And these are systems that you can basically just copy, paste, and use from me. I've given away pretty much all the value for free out there. And I'm just teaching people how to use LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want, funnels, how to systemize, how to hire. That's all on my Julian Goldie Agency channel, which has just hit 1,000 subscribers today. So if you want to learn more about growing your agency, check that stuff out. Mohammed says, do you think SEO is going to be worth it? I mean, it's not just demotivating to see 1,000 visits per day website suddenly start getting 15 to 20 visits from search. All my top keywords were gone almost. So number one, really sad to hear that. But number two, I would say, again, it's early days. We don't know what's going to happen. And when it comes to SEO, bear in mind that it's supposed to be hard, right? Anything related to growing a business is hard. And if you expected it to be easy, you'd be deluded, right? Because you're trying to compete with lots of other sites. You've got updates, you've got risks in business, and there's no grass is greener on the other side situation here, right? Any sort of business, any sort of industry, it's going to be tough. And there's going to be peaks and troughs and crazy roller coaster rides along the way. So if you're facing this challenge, number one, I'm sorry to hear that. But number two, I would say, how can you learn from this? How can you improve? How can you diversify your traffic so that if something like hits like this, then there's not one single point of failure. And that's one of the best things you can do, really, is just learn from it. Also, what I would say here is that a lot of SEOs will quit after this update. It's undeniable. A lot of SEOs are going to quit in the future. Some SEOs will quit later this year. And you've got to stay positive. And also realize that if more people are exiting the industry, then you've got an opportunity to learn from this and adapt and take those opportunities that most people are not going to capitalize from. So, for example, here's a great example, right? If you look at YouTube SEO right now, it's easier than ever and it's more powerful than ever. And the traffic converts unbelievably well. Right? So, for example, if you wanted to get from like 0 to 6 figures with SEO, well, with a website, that might take you like 9, 12, 18 months, etc. Right? Not going to be SEO. I'm just going to be honest about how long it takes. But if you were doing that with YouTube, I can personally tell you when I grew my YouTube channel in SEO, even when I was getting like 200 or 300 views per video, we grew to 6 figures per year just using YouTube and even getting a tiny amount of views. But because that traffic converts so well, it's fine. And that's the same thing I've seen with my agency channel as well, which is a good example of how this still works in 2024. And just look for new opportunities, look for new advantages, and don't let yourself go down. Just be positive and learn and adapt. Vineet says, should we start new sites when Google update is going on, or should we wait to finish this update? Interesting one. So here's the thing. If you follow, there's a channel called Autoblogging AI on YouTube. If you check them out, they're launching new sites every day. It's quite an interesting situation. So a lot of people have not been put off by creating new websites. I know a lot of SEO influencers who are still creating new websites in the background. And I wouldn't let anything put you off. But if it was me personally, I'm waiting until the update is over because I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens with Parasite SEO as well. And we'll just go from there. Jay says, what kind of car do you drive? I actually don't drive. I can drive. I have a license and everything like that, but I just don't drive. Don't feel the need to. I can get around with public transport pretty easily. Marwin says, how can I rank my subreddit posts on Google? Do you know some hacks? So This is a good one. I think Jackie Chow is one of the best guys to learn from when it comes to this. What I've seen other people do is they actually rank in existing subreddits that are already getting traffic, and then they buy some upvotes for those posts. I'm not promoting that, but I'm saying that's just what happens. And I think everyone knows that, honestly. It's pretty public information. So that's how people rank is they find subreddit posts that are already ranking, they post a comment on there, and then they get that comment upvoted and they pay for some upvotes about that. Andrew says, would love to chat about agency stuff. If you ever want to do a video, I'll check out your other channel. Yeah, thank you very much. Andrew, if you want to learn about the agency stuff, whether that's for the agency mastermind or the free course, all of it is on the Julian Goldie agency channel. So feel free to check that out. And Akram says, I believe AI content is a way going forward and all search engines will eventually adapt. How do you see content creation changing in the future? Great question. So here's what I envisage for the future of this channel specifically when it comes to ChatGPT or AI SEO tutorials is that we're not going to focus so much on scaling content and we're not going to focus so much on creating mass content at scale, but we're going to focus more on humanizing content and also improving the quality of the content, right? So I think it's going to be more of a sniper approach in terms of ranking blogs. That's what I'm going to show in terms of workflows on the channel, because I think that's publicly what I can talk about, and that's what I can talk about safely. That's exactly what I would say. So if I want to be safe, I can talk about quality and I can talk about humanizing content, and you can do all of that with AI SEO. So I think that's the way it's going, and I think if you look at the way this channel is going, they're the sort of tutorials we'll put out. Jay says, "Can you kick Jackie Chow's ass in a fight?" No, I think he's like 6'3". I've got no chance. I'm not going to say that I can kick his ass in a fight. But also, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and I have no plans to fight anyone. Although I do like to train Muay Thai, so I guess I have a bit of an advantage there. But yeah, that's it. I think that's pretty much all the questions we've got so far. So thanks so much for being on the stream today, and I hope these videos are helping you. Honestly, I think there's a lot of pandemonium right now. I think there's a lot of people panicking and that sort of thing. So I'm trying to keep everything positive and just help answer your questions. And Broker Judge says, is AI content over now? Again, I think it's going to be more of a focus on quality content and humanizing content, not scaling content. So if you look at Google's guidelines now, they've specifically said they don't like content scaling, right? So for me, I'm going to focus on quality content on my YouTube channel publicly. If you want to see some interesting case studies that we've got going on in the background, you can join my private WhatsApp group. Link to the mastermind is inside the comments and description. And Oliver Menk says, thank you so much. You are a legend. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm happy to share. So yeah, that's super kind. Thank you. And Helene says, thanks for today. Thanks very much for watching. And Ryan says, you seem like a nice guy. I'm going to subscribe to you now. That's super kind. Thank you so much. Honestly, really, really kind. And Erie says, are you planning on quitting SEO in the near future? No, I think that there's loads of opportunities right now, but you have to adapt. You have to learn. And that's what this channel is all about, right? If you look at the videos I was creating 4 years ago, they were adapted to the videos I create today. If you look at the videos from 12 months ago, they're totally different to the videos I created last month, right? Why is that? It's because everything is adapting, right? And if you can improve 1% every single day in terms of the way that you do SEO, in terms of the way that you market yourself and your website and get traffic, then you're on the right path. No one else can compete with that. So that's the way that I see things. It's like, I'm not going to quit SEO, but I am going to learn. I am going to adapt. I'm going to change the way that I create content, etc. And Good Vibe says, your videos are extremely helpful. Thank you very much. That's super kind. Darkcode None says, was it only affiliate sites that don't provide photo evidence of actually owning the site that got the index? No. No, I've seen lots of human sites with teams of expert writers get hit. I've seen sites that have direct experience to get hit. I think it's so early because even if those sites have taken a hit now, does that mean they're going to have still a hit at the end of the month? No. And will they have still taken a hit after the Parasite SEO update? Necessarily? I don't think so either. So yeah, I think it's just too early to say. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all of my prompts, templates, tutorials, etc., that I probably can't show publicly anymore, then feel free to check out my free SEO ChatGPT course. There's over 150 tutorials inside there, so feel free to to check that out. And if you do want to book in a free SEO strategy session where we can talk about how to grow your website, how to get more traffic, how to get more sales with SEO, feel free to book that in. And we'll talk to you about personally building you a SEO campaign that predictably and consistently delivers you more backlinks traffic sales to your website. And basically, we'll give you an SEO domination plan. You discover the secrets of SEO, and you get your questions answered. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Links to everything is inside the comments description, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.